I try to expose to you all the different ways that we try to generate business. And one of the ways that I think, in my opinion, that gets the worst rap is prospecting, and in particular, prospecting for expired listings. Because if viewed correctly, we can view that as cold calling. People will always, once I see the word cold calling, they run for the hills. And what's funny is these guys, the bulk of their business comes from the art of prospecting expired listings. They're very successful agents, and I think if I were to tell them, but how do you do this cold calling? How do you make yourself do that? They don't feel the same way. What do you guys think about that? The idea of cold calling.
Expired and or canceled listings too. I always want to say canceled listings in this area, so, but they're kind of one and the same. They're both out of contract with their previous agent. But yeah, I don't really think of it as cold calling because my experience with expired listings has been that they just want help. And they actually want to know who the top aggressive, which is a word they use a lot, who the top aggressive agents are in the area.
Okay, so they actually, the fact that you're annoying them or aggressively reaching out and contacting them, they actually want that.
Many times the people I'm talking to, I'm sure John gets the same thing, they will use the word aggressive. Now, some people might think of the word aggressive as a negative connotation, but that's not how they view it. They view it as somebody, they feel like the agent that they had before was not aggressive, and many times they'll say the same strips.
Proactive.
Yeah, proactive is a good word.
To use a less aggressive word.
Yeah, and they'll say, my last agent just stuck a sign in the yard and I don't really know what they did, so I'm looking for somebody that's more proactive than that. So.
To me, it's a lot easier than sitting up here in front of all these people. They're the low-hanging fruit. I think they already, they want to sell. They're motivated. They've already had their home out there. A lot of times you can get a price reduction right away. So to me, they're easier to communicate with than just an actual cold call where you're calling somebody, you don't even know if they want to sell their house or not.
Right, and I think this is important. He says they're the low-hanging fruit. They want to sell their house. See, a lot of people say, I don't want to call people I don't know. I'd rather call my own contacts, people that I know.
But they don't want to sell.
Yeah,
they don't know if they want to sell a house or not.
So you're actually calling someone to do something they don't want to do as opposed to you calling someone who actively wants. That's warm.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's warm.
I would agree with that. I think that they are low-hanging fruit. Because if somebody's been on the market for 6 months and they've had 20 to 40 some showings and they still want to sell their home, trust me, they want you to call them. They definitely want to know who the top agents are.
Yeah, tell me about that. They're a little bit more motivated than the average Joe that puts their house up for sale for the first time.
Right. Many times the house may be vacant already and they have to sell. Those are the ones you go after the hardest. Then people just move for different reasons. If they want to go through that 6 months again, they're looking for somebody that can just give them answers. It's simple as that. They're not getting the answers before, and they just want to know what do they have to do to sell their house. Usually is what they'll say to you.
And they may have had a dead sticker or something like that who wasn't really working to get the house sold.
Right. Just putting a dead sticker to someone who puts the sign in the yard and waits.
Right.
Yeah, then they hear from you, someone that's proactively out trying to get business. You show that you proactively try to get business.
Right. Yep.
And if you show them that you proactively try to get business for you, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that you would do the same for them?
Right. And they love hearing that.
They'd love to hear that. Okay, very important. Now, to me, when we're actually working with an expired client too, they're much more receptive to what you tell them, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They'll repaint the walls, they'll replace the carpet, they'll fix anything, repair anything, they'll do whatever you tell them.
Why is that? How come?
Because here's what I tell most people when you talk about expired listings, and here's why they're so great. When somebody goes on the market as a regular listing with just some average agent, they typically start a little bit too high, right? I think we'd all agree, you give them the price and they want to start $5,000, $10,000 over that. So the agent agrees to start $10,000 high. 45 days, 60 days into the listing, they finally drop the price to the agent's suggested, but by now they've been on the market for 2 months and they got a little time in it. and now they're getting a little frustrated. So it still doesn't sell, and about 1 month out before the 6 months in, so 5 months in, that's when the agent starts to say, I'm gonna lose this listing, it's gonna expire, and they start getting aggressive and get them to drop the price one more time. That's the right price that they should have been at the beginning. So when John or I come in and pick them up, now they're at the right price. And I will tell you honestly, 50% of the expired or canceled listings, I don't ask them to drop the price anymore because they're at the right price now. So the first agent just worked them down to the right price, and now I come in and sell the house in 30 days and I look like some savior to them.
Yeah, they've already had that reality check too, of
Right.
being at the wrong price, getting the negative feedback, not doing the things maybe that their agent asked them to do, or the agent maybe didn't even ask them to do it. You know, maybe they tried
A lot
to
of
do
times that's it.
a
Yeah.
carpet allowance,
Yeah,
and
they're-
now they're ready to replace the carpet.
That whole element where they're overly optimistic about their price is gone. It's been removed.
Right.
So they're no longer wanting to test the market. In fact, they're just tired of the market. So they don't think they're not unrealistic about where they're gonna
The
come.
number one thing they say is, tell me what to do so I can get this house sold.
It's a whole different client-agent relationship at that point.
Completely different perspective.
So the whole idea that's a cold call is just unbelievable to me. These are people that are dying to sell their house by this point. They've already been up there and they're really in a hurry to move.
Right, correct.
Okay, so I want to take, John, I want to start with you. Give me your initial script when you call an expired seller on the phone and he answers the phone. Hello.
I say, hi, this is John with the John Harris Group, and I'm sure you know by now your home showed up on the MLS as an expired listing, and undoubtedly I'm calling to see when you plan on hiring the right agent for the job to sell your home.
Excellent. Well, you know, we're not really interested in selling anymore. We've already tried the house on the market and we're kind of fed up. We're just going to wait for a while now.
So just out of curiosity, if I was to bring you a contract for the sale of your home tomorrow, would that pose a problem for you?
Beautiful. Kind of hard to answer that one. Kind of hard for anyone that's been on the market trying to sell. It's been in the mentality, of wanting to sell to say, no, I wouldn't even want to look at someone who wanted to buy my house anymore. There was a reason they initially wanted to move. And you posed a question with a downswing. That makes it kind of hard. I love that script.
You know, a lot of times they'll say, agents will ask me, do I leave a voicemail or not? If I get the machine, do I leave a voicemail or not? And I say, yes, you do. The first time. Second, third time, maybe not, but the first time you do. And usually I just keep it short and sweet because there may be other messages on that machine. I say, hi, this is Ron Henderson from Keller Williams Realty. I saw that your home is no longer on the market and I just wanted to know, are you still interested in selling? If you're interested in selling, please call me back today at 1-800, you know, so then I can.
That makes me feel like you've got someone who really wants to buy their house right now.
Exactly.
I really like that.
And many times they'll start out the conversation and say, it sounded like you have somebody that wants to buy my house today, and I'll say, possibly.
We might.
I have over 200, or I have over 2,000 database entries of buyers in my database, however you say that, and just say, I'm not sure which one would be a right fit for you. I'd like to come over and visit and see the house. Something like that, so.
Yeah, I do the opposite. I don't leave a message the first
Yeah.
couple of times, and then after that I'll leave a message. And I tell them, you know, I have an interest in your home, please give me a call back.
Sometimes they'll call you back just a missed call.
Yeah, I usually find the third and fourth time. The fifth time's the most effective though. That's when they actually serve the restraining order. It's got your name on it and everything. It's like another.
I had one I called for 7 months before I got a hold of them. It was a $540,000 listing. It closed last December.